is this the hardest you ever hit somebody? And if not, what would you say is the hardest on a football field you ever hit somebody? That one's pretty good.
That was a pretty good one. I enjoyed that one. I've got a massive, I don't know, maybe 6 by 3 foot image of that in my office.
Of this one? Of this one right here?
Yeah.
It's so good.
Corky
I just wish the mic guy had caught it better, because the mic guy on the field didn't. I don't think they're away from the field mics where they could have used it, because it sounded loud. And I was going to include the audio if it actually had the audio, but you can't hear the sound because I know you caught him right. You caught him with that good dwang, that little that tuning fork pitch.
Corky Turwin, the Seahawks longtime photographer, who I think is just retired, he got it's a perfect image of it. So I hit him with my left shoulder, but my right leg, you can see in the photo I have the triple extension. Hip, knee, ankle, all those are firing. It's the perfect time. I dip that shoulder into him. I get below his pads and lift him up. So that's not the hardest it's not the hardest I've hit somebody, but that was definitely one of the prettier hits that I've had. The immediacy of how he falls. It was that.
It's movie style, because the movies, they always, they go over the top in the movies and guys will jump with the hit, and it almost looks like he's jumping with the hit and how you hit him on that one. So it's just, that's when that's like hitting the golf shot on the thing where it's perfectly down the fairway. I'm sure for you.
The only bummer on that is it wasn't Marshall Faulk. Because Marshall Faulk ran that route on us, I think the year before. So when I saw it coming, I knew exactly what the play was. I diagnosed it. And so the only bummer was I wish it was Marshall Faulk, because he probably would not have been as effective the rest of that game.
I was watching Rams tape leading up to this, Chad, and they even were commenting with Madden. They were like, talking to Chad this week, he said, I'm not worried by Marshall Faulk in the least. That guy can, like, they were even talking trash, like you would talk to them like, yeah, he ain't nothing. And the whole lead up, and that rivalry kicked off quick there with the Rams, I suppose, on that. But what was the hardest?
Oh, wow. It's my former Seahawk teammate, Winston Moss. So we were playing in Baltimore my first year with the Seahawks. And it was a draw play. Bam Morris, my former Steeler teammate, it's a draw play. So, the running back's got to wait in the backfield for that draw, because the quarterback's got to do the fake pass drop there to make the draw play, the fake seem realistic. So Winston and I were on a double outside linebacker blitz. Both Winston and I are screaming off the edge, unblocked. Bam gets the handoff. He sees us coming. He just dives forward to avoid us. And both Winston and I lower our heads like oh no, bighorn rams up on a rocky mountain. We smash heads. Winston ends up breaking his neck. That was the second to last play in Winston's career. He actually stayed in the game for the next play. Luckily, he didn't hit anybody, because he could have severed his spinal cord. He goes to the sideline. He never plays football ever again. He's in the halo, the screws into his forehead and his head for the next, 12 weeks or whatever, while his broken neck is healing. I get maybe the worst concussion of my career. You can see it on the tape when you watch it. I put my hands under my face mask because I'm checking if my brain is still in my skull. It literally felt like my brain had left my skull. I kept playing that game. It's not so wise. I almost blocked a punt. Don't even know how I did that. I picked up a fumble, scored on that fumble, scored a touchdown. But then coming out of halftime, we were playing in the old Baltimore Stadium, which was before that was the Orioles Stadium, before they got their new stadium. And we were coming out of the dugout because it was, a baseball stadium. So I'm coming up the dugout steps, and the punters are out there warming up. And I go out there and I start catching punts. And one of the coaches in the press box calls down and is like, "What the hell is Chad doing catching punts?" Warming up catching punts. They get a team doctor over to me. He quickly recognizes that my brain is completely scrambled. He asks to see my helmet, and then he runs off with my helmet, and they lock it in one of those boxes on the side. So I couldn't get back into the game.
Smart for you guys. You guys back then and go out.
Yeah, and I keep threatening. It was Dr. Herring, Dr. Stan Herring, who's a tremendous doctor, great doctor for a football team. And I'm cussing him out, and I'm telling him, I'm going to come to your house tonight. I'm going to hurt you, and I'm going to hurt your family if you don't give me my helmet back right now. Luckily, cooler heads prevailed, and I didn't hurt Dr. Herring, and he kept my helmet locked away because, I can't imagine if I had continued to play football, how much worse that concussion wouldn't have gotten.
It's where fans, I think, need to back off of that stuff at times when the players have the quote-unquote outbursts on the sidelines after they've been concussed. One of the symptoms of concussion is you're going to get angry and emotional. So, when people that happen, we had a Jamal Adams instance this season with it, where it's just like, chill with that. Is that the scariest moment then on the field, or was it when you had to get carted off the field? That would have been because did you have shades of that moment when you were carted off then? Oh my God.
The carting off moment was more so scary for, I thought, the people around me, because I knew that I was fine. Now, as I'm laying on the ground and the docs are, on their knees whispering into my ear, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine." And one of the docs says, "That's what Winston said." And I'm like, "Okay, all right. Winston broke his neck. Let me lay here," because they come out in the field and say, "What hurt?" I was like, "My neck is on fire. I can feel my neck is just burning." I ended up tearing a ligament in my neck, so that's why my neck was burning so bad. But as soon as we got into the ambulance and the ambulance was pulling off the field, Sammy Ramstein, who's now the director of, I think, health services for the Seahawks, back then was an assistant athletic trainer. I said, "Man, pull out your cell phone. You're going to call my mom. You're going to call my wife. Those are the first phone calls you got to make. Then after that, we'll run down the list." Because I know everybody's freaked out being carted off on the field with my head taped down on the stretcher. Oh, yeah. I know I'm fine. My neck burns real bad, but I know I've got movement in all my extremities and all that. So that was one of those moments that even to this day, if you ask my wife about it, and she will still get emotional. The emotions still flood back for her. She was not in Seattle. She was at our home in Denver. And we had at that point, our daughter was born in August. So we had a couple month-old child, and she sees her husband potentially paralyzed, being taken off the field. One of those scary moments that I think a lot of fans don't really recognize how traumatic some of these things can be for our family and our spouses.
Yeah, and this was only a few years after Mike Utley had lost his ability with the Detroit Lions and lost his legs. This is also right about the time Jerry Maguire's coming out. So I don't know if that was right where before that game that happened, where your wife had to have gone and seen that movie, and then
Rod Tidwell, yes.
It was Rod Tidwell, and then "Tell me he's okay, Jerry. Tell me he's okay." Where he's calling the wife and trying to make sure.
Good doctors on the field, just stay calm.
No, Jerry, you have to tell me something. I cannot stay calm. I am freaking here.